You don't get rich by accident, you get rich by design. Wealth doesn't suddenly fall into your lap because you got lucky, or because you were born with some hidden talent. Becoming rich is a deliberate process. It's the result of decisions made consistently, even when no one is watching, even when it feels boring, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Teenagers misunderstand this. They think money will appear randomly someday, that something magical will happen at 25 or 30. It won't. Money only comes to those who design a plan and execute it with discipline. Designing your path to wealth starts with a simple realization. Everything you do is either an investment or a distraction. Every hour spent scrolling is a vote for a future where you stay average. Every hour spent practicing a skill, learning a craft, or building something that's a vote for a future where you're dangerous, valuable, and unstoppable. The truth is harsh but freeing. Your current life is the result of your past design. If you're broke, unskilled, and unsure, it's because your previous decisions formed that. But the good news, you can redesign your entire life starting today. You don't have to wait. Being intentional means choosing learning over entertainment. It means studying wealthy people, not because you want to copy them, but because you want to understand how they think. Rich people have patterns, they understand leverage, they value time more than money, they care about skills, not grades. They know that one good decision repeated consistently beats 1,000 motivational videos. They build systems, morning routines, work habits, financial plans that move them forward automatically. Designing your wealth also means controlling your environment. If your friends are lazy, unfocused, or negative, their design becomes yours too. You cannot outwork a bad environment. You can't develop millionaire discipline surrounded by people who laugh at your ambition. The design of your circle is the design of your destiny. Above all, wealth by design means responsibility. You stop blaming teachers, parents, the government, or circumstances. You accept that your future is yours to build, not next month, not next year. Now, every decision from what you watch to how you spend to what you practice is a brick in the life you're constructing. Most people drift. They go wherever life pushes them. The rich don't drift. They design. If you want to build a life that feels extraordinary, you must stop living like everyone else. Plan your future, protect your focus, and build yourself with intention. That's how teenagers become millionaires. Rich people don't just make more money, they operate on a completely different rulebook. While most people live their lives reacting to every little thing that comes their way, the wealthy move with intention, clarity, and strategy. They aren't playing the same game as everyone else, so of course their results look different. And if you want to become rich as a teenager, you need to stop following the script society gives you and start playing the same game the wealthy have mastered. The average person thinks life is about working hard in a straight line. Go to school, get good grades, get a safe job, retire at 65, enjoy life when you're old. Rich people know that's a trap. It's a system designed for average outcomes. Wealthy people chase leverage, not labor. They look for ways to multiply their time, multiply their skill, multiply their money. They understand that one smart decision can outperform 5 years of grinding at a mediocre job. Look at how regular people think about money. They see money as something you trade time for. 1 hour equals 1 payment. Rich people don't think like that at all. They know time is their most valuable asset, something you can't get back. So instead of trading time for money, they build systems where their money, their skills, and eventually their team works for them. That is the biggest shift a teenager can make. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like a builder. Rich people also understand cash flow. The average person only thinks about income. How much do I make per month? That's why they stay broke. The wealthy focus on flow, the continuous movement of money. Money that comes in, money that stays in, money that grows. They control where every dollar goes, and they make sure their money is always working, invested, reinvested, multiplied. Teenagers who become wealthy learn this early. Every time money enters their life from a gig, a skill, a business, they don't rush to spend it, they allocate it. The broke teenager buys shoes, food, games, entertainment. The rich-minded teenager invests in tools, software, courses, contractors, better equipment, things that expand their earning power. Another part of the rich person game is decision making. Most teenagers don't realize how expensive indecision is. They wait for the right time, or they overthink every idea until it dies. Wealthy people move fast. They make decisions with incomplete information and adjust along the way. They understand that momentum is more valuable than perfection. The average teenager wants guarantees. The wealthy teenager looks for probabilities and then takes action. They don't need certainty, they need direction, and let's talk about value. Regular people worry about looking valuable wearing the right clothes, pretending to be successful, showing off online. Rich people worry about becoming valuable. They develop rare skills. They solve real problems. They become the person who can charge $100 for an hour, then $500, then $5,000 until their name alone is leverage. Teenagers who become millionaires start with a simple rule. How can I become too valuable to ignore? They learn copywriting, editing, design, sales, SMMA, coding, something the marketplace respects. There's also the emotional game. Broke people avoid discomfort. They'd rather be entertained than educated. They run from boring work. They chase pleasure. Rich people flip that entire mindset. They lean into discomfort. They embrace boredom because they know mastery lives there. They're willing to do the unglamorous work for months or years before any recognition comes. They treat challenges like gyms for their character. Every problem becomes a chance to level up. Rich people also understand that relationships are leverage. They choose their circle intentionally. They surround themselves with people who are building, growing, pushing. They know environment shapes identity. Most teenagers let anyone into their life. They don't realize those same people are quietly determining their future. Wealthy teenagers cut out low-value friendships and replace them with mentors, ambitious peers, and people who think bigger than them. And finally, rich people have a different relationship with time. They think in years, not days. The average teenager wants success in a week. They want results by Friday. The wealthy understand that real wealth is built through consistent action over time. They plant seeds now that grow later. They choose long-term plays over short-term dopamine. They understand that patience is an amplifier. The longer you stick to the right habits, the more explosive the results. So if you want to become rich, stop playing the game you were taught. Start playing the game the wealthy play. Understand leverage, build valuable skills, control your money, move fast, embrace discomfort. Choose your environment wisely, think long-term, because the sooner you switch games, the sooner your life will stop looking average and start looking extraordinary. Mindset is the multiplier. Without it, nothing works. You can have the skill, you can have the course, you can have the equipment, the laptop, the books, the perfect plan, but if your mindset is weak, none of it matters. Mindset is the engine behind every action you take and every action you avoid. It determines whether you quit or continue, whether you level up or stay stuck, whether you build a life of freedom or a life of regret. This is the part most teenagers ignore. They want the strategy, the hack, the secret shortcut. But the people who actually win in life are the ones who master the mental game. Everything starts with belief, not the cliché motivational type, but real belief, the type that says, I can build something from scratch. I can become someone I'm not yet. Most people live with a mindset that sabotages them before they even try. They tell themselves they're too young, too late, too inexperienced, too unlucky, and the brain listens. A weak mindset kills dreams faster than failure ever will. Teenagers who become millionaires flip that script. They take extreme ownership of their thoughts. They refuse to let doubt drive their life. They don't wait for confidence. They build it through action. Mindset also shapes discipline. People think discipline is about forcing yourself to suffer, but it's not. It's about understanding that your feelings are not the boss your goals are. A strong mindset doesn't negotiate with laziness. It doesn't say, I'll do it later. It doesn't collapse the moment life gets hard. It knows that consistency is the real superpower. Most people show up only when they feel like it. Winners show up regardless. That's why some teenagers grow wildly while others stay the same for years. Their mindset determines their habits, and habits determine their fate. Another part of mindset is perspective. When you have a weak perspective, every small setback feels like the end. A failed attempt becomes proof that you're not good enough. A slow month becomes a reason to quit. But people with a strong mindset view failures as data. They analyze, adjust, and keep moving. They understand that mistakes are feedback, not identity. They don't take losses personally, they treat them as part of the process. Teenagers who succeed early develop this mental resilience faster than others. They don't crumble when their first business makes no money. They don't get emotional when things don't go their way, they rise. Mindset also influences the environment you choose. A weak mindset keeps you around friends who drag you down because it fears being alone. A strong mindset protects its energy. It removes people who sabotage growth, even if it hurts. It recognizes that comfort is the enemy and expansion requires discomfort. You cannot step into a millionaire version of yourself if you're surrounded by people who laugh at ambition. Your environment is either fertilizing your mindset or poisoning it, and a strong mindset chooses wisely. Another core element is long-term thinking. Teenagers with weak minds want instant results, fast money, overnight success, quick recognition. They get frustrated when progress is slow. They don't realize that real transformation takes months and years, not days. Wealthy individuals play the long game. They delay pleasure. They choose the reward later instead of the dopamine now. They keep building even when no one is watching because they aren't driven by approval, they're driven by vision. A strong mindset understands that long-term consistency always outperforms short-term intensity. But the biggest part of mindset is identity. Your identity is the story you tell yourself about who you are. If you see yourself as average, you will act average. If you believe you're not capable, your decisions will reflect that. But if you start shaping an identity of someone disciplined, focused, creative, resilient, your mind begins to align with that story. Your actions rise to meet your identity. Wealth is built from the inside out. You don't become successful, then act like a winner. You act like a winner long before success arrives. Mindset is the multiplier because it amplifies everything else. Skills, habits, strategies, they all grow or die based on the strength of your mind. Without the right mindset, nothing works. With the right mindset, everything becomes possible.